Well, hello and welcome to this Blue Star Careers webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live. I'm Laura Torres from Blue Star Careers. And today, like all the other times that we do these live webinars, we have incredible career solutions for those who perhaps are feeling stuck in the job search. Are you feeling stuck like you're always on the hunt with your time and efforts seemingly in vain, applying? If that's the case with you, we understand. We know your frustration, we share your pain, and we're here to offer you some alternative, much needed relief and reassurance that you're not alone. And we have some incredible resources, partners, and most importantly, a network who knows that military spouses, veterans, and anyone in transition can use a little bit of extra love and support, and most importantly, career direction. So we hope that you can join us and but also pay it forward. Give it to your network, share this link, tag those within your community, your pages, your favorite private groups. I'm trying to say that because Facebook share a little bit some of our connections, but we want to learn together. So please post your questions, comments. We're going to address all of those towards the end. But most importantly, we want you to please go ahead and hit that share so that you can help us amplify visibility within your network and our network. Remember, we have amazing support, but also real-time career connection when you join the Blue Star Careers community in the neighborhood. Link will be dropped in the comments. So without that being said, I can't wait for you to meet our guest today and make a full virtual introduction on their behalf, but most importantly, for you to find out the great career solutions that they have for you, for our members to take advantage and relaunch your career pathway in a much better direction. Let's begin. Hello. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Laura Torres from Blue Star Careers, and today we're here. Welcome back to this live webinar. We are streaming right now as we speak, and in fact, I'm going to go check to make sure we have live sound and comments. We can see your support through our community. So please post your comments. Tell us where you're watching. We love to be able to send you shout outs, but also recognize your community because we know that's where career action is taking place. So please post it in the comments. We love to be able to acknowledge those towards the end. But today we have a really purposeful and very interactive discussion with Jerilyn Leonard, who is a fellowship program manager at DogTags, and Michael Nordquist, who is also a CEO and founder of the Armed Forces Benefits Network. Both of them are here representing very unique programs and career solutions for our members, but they also want to share impressive career stories and their own perspective, their own whys, but also their own just moving enthusiasm and how you can also join their network and become very career solution driven. So without all that talking, let me just welcome Jerilyn and welcome friend once again, a former Blue Star Families fellow as well. Welcome to our community. Tell us a little bit more about you and properly introduce yourself, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Laura and Blue Star Families, for having me here. It's such a privilege to be back and come full circle to help my fellow military community as Blue Star Families did for me. So my name is Jerilyn Leonard. I am as Laura said, an alumni of Blue Star Families Campaign for Inclusion Deploy Fellowship. I was part of the second cohort that graduated last year. I'm a 20-year military spouse, a mother of four, a business owner, and currently the senior program manager of Dog Tag Inc.'s Chicago Fellowship Program. My work has always been, centered around the military community, and I'm just a huge avid supporter of our military families. So it's a privilege to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jerilyn, for that great introduction. And I apologize. I think my Spanglish got in the way when I introduced you, but I'm glad that you are able to share with us your great name in your own voice. So thank you so much for your support. Now we're going to go with Mike or Michael, also a great community provider, supporter, slash just a great ally to our career pathways to provide great alternatives for all of you. So, Michael, welcome to our community and please introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Michael Nordquist. I am the CEO and founder of Armed Forces Benefits Network. I have been working with the military community and the federal government, providing supplemental benefits for folks as far as retirement solutions, insurance solutions, things of that nature for the last 35 years. I have been doing this. My family's been generationally doing this. I'm third year or third generation in this profession. We started doing this and offering these benefits to service members back in 1971. So it's pretty much in my blood. And thank you so much for having us here. And we're really looking forward to being able to help folks and make a big impact to the military community. We've been supporting them for the last, like I said, AFBN has been supporting them for the last 20 years. So we're looking forward and we're happy to be here.
Wow, 30 plus years. That's an incredible, just an abundance of knowledge. When I see a career pathway or a business or an organization providing career support or just in general services products, I always quantified the length of the knowledge of when someone begins that career or that business and then how long it takes for you to, 30 years later, how much wealth of knowledge you guys have just all together come together to provide for our members in our community. And with that wealth of knowledge, I want to put Geraldine back on the spotlight so that you can share with us a little bit more and break down a little bit better, more visual, how dog tag is changing career pathway for military spouses. So we're going to share a little bit more intentional from you, right? You're going to take over and give us a little bit more walkway about what dog tag is. Because I think when we posted it into our community, there were a couple of members who said, "Oh, they make great cookies. Oh, dog tags. What's dog tags?" And so you go and search dog tags, and you get multiple answers. So let's get it straight from Jerilyn, and she's going to walk us through the process. She's going to share her screen, and so that we know better how dog tag is changing career pathways for you. And if you are one of those members who may want to take advantage, this could be the right opportunity for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laura. And you hit it on the head. When dog tag comes up, initially, if it's not dog tags that our military utilizes, it is, do you all make dog tag treats? We did, but we don't anymore. So I'm thankful to be able to share our actual program and initiatives with you all. If I can just have a thumbs up that everyone can see, or if Laura, if you can let me know that you can see that.
We
Perfect.
can.
All right. I would like to jump in and just give you all a quick overview of our program and the amazing mission that we are on to serve our veteran and military community. So, our physical location is located in Washington, D.C., in the Georgetown area. It is our bakery location and the model for our fellowship program. So, in 2014, we started our program with an initial class of 10 fellows and now boast a network of over 300 fellows and empower almost 50 new fellows every year. We serve as a business and entrepreneurship focused fellowship program that looks to equip our veterans and active military and veteran spouses and their caregivers with the tools and education to build resilience, find renewed purpose, and forge community beyond their military service. Essentially, Dog Tag provides a bridge from military service to the civilian world and acts as a catalyst for finding direction and moving forward. So, our innovative approach, we offer a 5-month paid fellowship program to our fellows. We provide an academic foundation provided in partnership with Georgetown University and Loyola University Chicago. We combine equal parts of classroom, bakery, community, and well-being through 5 pillars of our program. And we bring all of that coursework to life by learning the ins and outs of running successful business using the bakery model that we have with Dog Tag, building community with each other, and enhancing well-being through introspection and personal growth throughout the program. So I'd like to briefly just share with you all what we would be looking forward to right now during our application period for our winter cycle that jump starts here in January of 2025. So again, we are a 5-month entrepreneurial fellowship program. We will be running from January to May of next year with a spring break scheduled there in March. The schedule is from Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time for our DC Fellows, and Monday through Thursday, 8 to 3 p.m. Central Time for our Chicago Fellows. Our program is mostly conducted in a virtual learning environment, but we do have 3 in-person weeks that we schedule in over the 5-month period. There's no cost at all to participate in our program. We do not utilize any GI benefits. We actually pay out a taxable monthly stipend to offset any costs that are associated with attending our fellowship program. We also provide a laptop for use during the program, and we run 2 cycles a year with up to 16 seats in each cycle for DC and Chicago. And again, we are currently recruiting for our winter 2025 cycle. So very briefly, our academic foundation, our experiential learning, our learning labs, our well-being and reflection, and our capstone project curriculum are the 5 elements of our program. Through the academic foundation, our fellows in Washington, D.C. will work towards earning a certificate in business administration from Georgetown University, and our Chicago fellows look to receive a certificate in business acumen from Loyola University, Chicago. Through our experiential learning, our fellows will meet our dog tag staff and bakery leads to learn about marketing and product development, operations, development, finance, and strategy. And it just provides a larger and clearer picture of how dog tag functions and how they can take those skills and knowledge to apply into their own careers. Our learning labs are approximately 150 external partners between DC and Chicago who come in and conduct sessions that are centered around skill building, wellness, entrepreneurial stories, and corporate culture. We also try to incorporate offsite experiences, taking field trips to partner facilities to go ahead and extend the opportunity for our fellows to connect with other entrepreneurs and to continue to build out their network. Well-being and reflection is a huge component of our program, knowing that we service our veterans with military-connected disabilities. So we try to incorporate self-care and wellness into our program through journaling and reflection, mindfulness and meditation, physical activity where we can, as well as a theater class called Finding Your Voice, where our fellows are meant to strengthen their voices and public speaking skills through reflection, acting, writing, and storytelling. Our capstone project is the culmination of all the hard work that our fellows have put into the program. And at the end of the program, we want to see them with a developed business plan that consists of a business model, a market analysis, a 2-year budget, as well as a pitch presentation ready to present to a room full of their colleagues, dog tag staff, as well as reviewers who are in the room. So upon graduation, our capstone presentations take place, our Finding Your Voice presentations take place, as well as our graduation ceremony in each respective location. And then our graduates become a part of our extensive alumni network, where they continue to have access to our community, newsletters, social activities, support, our advisorship and mentorship programs, and just ongoing professional and personal networking and employment opportunities. All right. So very quickly, our eligibility requirements are our program is open to post 9/11 veterans with service-connected disabilities, spouses, former and retired, military caregivers of post 9/11 service members, our active service members who are in transition out of the military within 6 months of the cycle they're applying for, as well as Guard and Reserve members. We are looking for an eagerness to learn and engage in professional and personal development, a readiness to explore entrepreneurship or a career in civilian workforce, a willingness to contribute to a diverse new military-connected community, and the drive and motivation to thrive in what can at times become a very rigorous environment. Just specific eligibility requirements for our program is that everyone is welcome to apply for our program. The commitment is Monday through Thursday, either 9 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time or 8 to 3 p.m. Central Time. And our in-person weeks are mandatory, scheduled for January, March, and May of next year. Same thing for Chicago. Our in-person weeks will take place in Chicago and DC for next cycle. And our application period is open through Monday of next week, September 23rd. So if you're interested, please visit our dogtaginc.org website, and you'll be automatically invited to fill out an application where you will need to submit your DD-214, your VA rating letter, and your recommendation letter. Just a heads up that our spouses are exempt from a VA rating letter. And if you're attached to an active duty service member, you're welcome to submit their current orders. Our program itself is really meant, again, to help our veterans, our spouses, our caregivers, our military community find that purpose and direction after their service. And the skills that we share in and put out there in our program are extremely valuable as they help you to network and to continue to build out your program and chase after those business endeavors. So I'm going to stop sharing. If you all can still see me, am I still here? Can everyone still see me?
You still
Great.
here, and we're so
Awesome.
glad that you are here. We
Thank
have so
you.
many questions, but what about that, Mike? Wow, what an incredible wow double effect! And so to be able to have paid fellowship, but not only that, all I heard was what a great way for you as an applicant, as a job seeker, as anyone, whether you're looking to do entrepreneurship or not, to be able to get a well developed opportunity for you to stop for you to just build that career readiness, because every employer wants to know how well you are in business acumen, how much you want to know about the business, even if you're not part of the marketing team. Just having that overall awareness, I think in general, it's good, makes sense, right? What would you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the mission of Dog Tag is just unique in a way that they don't just say it. You see it in the program. You feel it in the program. The successes of our fellows past the program is an extreme metric that we look at, right? Success looks different for everyone. But as long as our fellows are able to graduate our program with direction that they didn't have at the top of the fellowship, that is success in our eyes as far as our leadership team is. Our program really is meant to help capture those transitioning veterans and their families in that stage of military service to civilian world and really figure out what's next for me. Where am I going? And I'm a part of that community where moving every few years and following your service member made it extremely difficult to be able to build your own career as a military spouse or dependent of. So programs like Dog Tag really help um, polish that out and really help develop those ideas, and even seeds coming into the program have turned into full-blown businesses by the end of the program, and that is what I love about the Dog Tag Fellowship initiative.
Fantastic. And I have shared the screen of what the fellowship site for your application looks like because, well, we are right around the corner. I mean, we have what? 5 days for you to get your application, and luckily for us, if you are a procrastinator like me, the weekend, you have the weekend to get it in. So yes, that's Monday, so work on Saturday and Sunday to gather all of your essentials, your requirements. Make sure that you do your case, and give your brag really well. Send your brag internally through the application process so that you can be considered for this incredible program. So thank you so much, Jerilyn, for sharing that. And
Absolutely.
that, with that being said, of course, Mike has also such an incredible alternative for job searching opportunities. But at first, I want to know more about what his organization does. What does AFBN does, the Armed Forces Benefits Network? What do you do overall? And those members that join your team also, how do they change and transform lives through this particular career pathway? We want to get to know you first before we can start talking about how to apply and what we can.
Sure. Happy to answer that question. As I mentioned before, I'm a registered financial consultant and a chartered financial benefits consultant, which means we pretty much drill down and specialize in working with federal employees, and of course active duty military. That's going to be one facet of that. But early on in my career, I worked for many organizations that specialized in working with military folks. One of them was John Hancock, New York Life Insurance Company, AFBA over in Alexandria, Virginia. And as I worked in that career, I obviously was able to climb the career ladder and ended up being a regional or field vice president in a couple different organizations. But one thing that always frustrated me is I guess my career path was always dictated by what this organization wanted to accomplish. And sometimes our values didn't align. There were things that I didn't think were in the best interest of the community. So it was very frustrating early on in my career. And that really is the reason why I ended up founding AFBN. I find that sometimes a lot of the large firms lose contact or lose touch, I guess, with what you could say the pulse of the community, especially your junior enlisted, your junior NCOs, even your staff NCOs. When you have somebody that has been far removed and kind of lives a different lifestyle, it's very hard for them to identify really where the key pain points are that our military community is affected by today. And that's why we founded AFBN, because we wanted to be able to be quick to react when things change. Being a soldier in 1995 is different than being a soldier today. They have a lot of things in common, but there are a lot of different challenges, right? Because times always change. And we wanted to be able to be quick to react to those changes and those needs, because being in the military and living that lifestyle is a very fluid environment. You guys know that, right? You're in a location maybe for a few years, and then you've got a PCS, and you may be going to Texas, or you may be going to Mildenhall in England, right? You never know. It depends on where the orders are. So that's why we created AFBN. One of the things that the organization does for the military community that we're very proud of is one thing that we do is we do free tax preparation and filing for all active duty personnel. There's zero cost. There's no obligation associated with those things. That is one of the things that we noticed, is that when we go to a military community, there are always a lot of organizations, businesses that are out there, a lot of used car dealerships, a lot of tax programs or tax consultants that are charging excessive amounts of money to do returns for our service members. And now that VITA, the voluntary tax assistance offices in many locations are being shut down, and they're not adequately funded, the need for what we do is even greater. So that's one of the ways that we give back to the community. The other thing that we do is we try to educate folks on all the benefits that they rate for being on active duty. A lot of people don't realize there's a plethora of benefits that are available to them for wearing a uniform every day, right? Whether it be living benefits with education assistance, or being able to buy a home, through the VA, through your certificate of eligibility, or also on the negative side is, unfortunately, people do die or get killed when they're on active duty, right? If that happens, where does that leave the family? What does the survivor benefit package look like? Most folks, in uniform really just know a little bit about their servicemen's group life insurance. They all know that they have insurance, but they don't really understand how it works. They don't understand there's a ton of other benefits: service dependency, indemnity compensation, death gratuities. There's TSGLI. There's benefits to the dependents as well, different types of educational assistance in the event of a death while on active duty. So we kind of educate them on that. And also, when you break service, whether you ETS, DOS, or you retire, a lot of folks don't realize that 90% of the benefits that they have are going to go away, right? And they don't know that until they get out, and then they realize when they're separating, Jesus, I thought I was going to have all of these benefits, and you know what? You're not anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of times at that point in time, especially later on in your career, you may not be qualified for different benefits in the civilian community. So you're thinking that you have these benefits, and then they go away, and you're not in the condition to be able to replace them. So we try to educate folks. That's first and foremost, is our mission statement, is to educate people on where they stand, how to take advantage of current tax laws, how to be able to take advantage of the many benefits that are available as far as taxes go for serving our country. There's all kinds of different benefits by state, different tax credits and incentives that they'll provide for you for serving our country. So we try to educate folks on that.
Fantastic. And with that, I would like to pivot also as well, because I can see and I can hear the passion on your overview of the great work that you do. You also complement your services with members that are also part of the military community, and then of course you have some immediate openings for members who want to perhaps have a little more flexible hours, have a little more passion, really make an impact, because all of those things that you describe, all the great work that you do behind the scenes as a provider, are obviously services that our community will definitely could benefit and can benefit. And you're right. When you are transitioning, sometimes they tell you, you think about it, but you don't get to it because you're so busy, you're so burned out trying to find a job to get the income, but you forget about the benefits and how to manage the current income that you have. But tell us a little bit more about also the pathway, career opportunities that your organization provides.
One of the things that's really unique about our firm is that, like I said, we work with the military community, and 90% of the folks that we have that are representatives are they're either veterans or they're dependents of somebody that's currently on active duty. Our training director is a retired lieutenant colonel that is has a fantastic career. He ran the space shuttle program, the safety protocol for the space shuttle, and he was the commander of the JFK Junior Rescue, and also the commander on the, if everyone's ever seen The Perfect Storm. So we have a lot of colorful characters in our organization. But one of the nicest things about what we do and makes us very unique is that, you know, there can be a lot of financial consultants in the world, right? But one thing that they don't have, they can have a ton of education, but they don't have the knowledge of what it's like being in the military, living the military lifestyle, what it's like to have your loved ones, deploy or go TDY for 30, 60, 90 days, or what it's like to have to PCS, uproot and move to a completely different area, sometimes a completely different country. That's why we like to pull from within, because there's one thing that you can't teach. Like I said, you can't teach, what it's like to be in the military and to have those challenges. And that's why this is a great opportunity for spouses or veterans that want to be able, especially veterans that want to be able to take some of the knowledge that they've earned over the last 20 plus years throughout their career and give back that knowledge to the next generation, the younger community of leadership, the young soldiers, the young company grade officers, or the non-commissioned officers that are going to be leading, the force into the future, to give back to that community and be a resource. I think that's one of the very super fulfilling things about this career. And the other thing with the spouses, I know one of the big challenges for folks that are, that are dependents, right? A lot of them are highly qualified, college educated, very, very difficult to be able to start a career knowing that, if you have a job where you actually have a salary, or it's an hourly job where you're trading, your hours for dollars, you can't think about advancement in many cases because and your employer knows that you're going to be PCSing and leaving in 3 to 5 years or sooner, right? So then you have to uproot and you start all over again. What makes our opportunity very unique is that you're able to actually take your career with you. So if you are at Fort Irwin, California, and you PCS to Fort Stewart, Georgia, you can take your career with you and you can continue to be a guiding light, a resource to the community at Fort Stewart. So this is more of not really so much a job, it's more of a profession. It's a career that you can take throughout your lifetime, and it can be very rewarding.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Wow, this is a great alternative. Jerilyn, I mean, where were these opportunities when perhaps you and I were transitioning on the job search, right? Although you have an amazing job, but can you think back of several years back of how this would have been a game changer for some of our, career trajectories as well?
Oh, absolutely. I hate to say it, but they were probably there, right? The resources were probably there. Knowing how to find them, knowing how to locate them was probably the bigger issue. Just having a centralized place, or, organizations like Blue Star Families who are able to spotlight organizations like this, where if you're living overseas, you might not know anything about it, right? About opportunities. So I hate to say that, but they were probably there, maybe not as, fruitful as they are now, and as exposed as they are now because of the internet. But, these would have been so valuable for someone like me, who's, again, nearing over 20 years of being a service member's spouse, and really having to put myself on the back burner for some time, just following his career and being that support to him, having to uproot myself, every few years and start over. Remote, has only recently become a trend, right? And accepted, so broadly. So, I think it's just a matter of just resources, right? And just knowing where to look and where to find all of these amazing programs that are out there for us in the military community. But this would have been a major lifeline for me, Mike, just to be able to have a program to tap into and be able to say, doesn't matter where we go, Germany, Spain, wherever. I have a way to bring in some income myself and feel that for myself. So amazing program you have, Mike. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, thank you. And it is really neat. The other thing again is that you're being a consultant, you're able to manage your time, right? So a lot of these folks are they have young families, so their schedule has to be very fluid. It has to be flexible, and this gives them the opportunity to do that. And it reminds me of a young lady that we have that actually worked at our Fort Campbell branch, and her husband. They have a young family, and he's a young junior NCO, and they got orders to another location, and she's opening a branch at that location. So it's neat to see her actually doing it and seeing the program work the way that we envisioned it.
Yeah. And I can also see, vision how much growth and personal just wealth of knowledge she's applying all of these best practices as she's going through this career to her own family, to her own future retirement, the growth of her kids, their future career, financial wellness. I mean, just imagine it's a whole domino effect that it just doesn't empower one person when you are
Mhm.
employed in a great career. It empowers everyone. Now, Mike, I want to give you a chance to also highlight and maybe do a little wow comment here for Jerilyn and DocTech. What a great also trajectory and program where you are able to join as a cohort. If you need accountability, if you need a team, if you need to be part of something, this is a great opportunity for you to be part of a program and a fellowship that for 5 months is going to incentivize you, but it also is going to fill you up with great knowledge. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic. I think the biggest disconnect that we have, in today's day and age is that we have just tons of knowledge, right? But a lot of times it's knowledge overload and you don't know where to go. You get online, you start searching things. You don't know what's real, what isn't. You guys take everything and you collect it all down and you take hard information and resources and you're able to get people plugged right into that. And I think it's fantastic what you guys do, especially the education piece, getting them that knowledge on being an entrepreneur and learning how to do these things is very, very valuable because as you know, being a business owner, there's all kinds of pitfalls and all kinds of places that you can go wrong. And nowadays, one or two bad decisions can really change the whole trajectory of whether or not your business is going to be successful or if it's going to fail. So it's fantastic what you guys do. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now, I do want to go back also to Jerilyn and ask you to expand a little bit. I know that when you and I were talking about mental wellness and just also being at your best element when you are job searching, when you are going through this program, or just in general. In order for you to really engage, tell us a little bit more what the program does for those who are, also just trying to find their inner peace, but also cohesively
Yeah.
complement their career throughout.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the things, and that Mike touched on this as well, is the community aspect. I think in transition, losing that sense of community is a huge barrier for some of our transitioning families and veterans where they almost feel a disconnect once they are formally transitioned out, where it goes, are we even welcome there anymore? Is that still our space? Is that still, a part of who we are? And it absolutely is. And I think the Dog Tag Fellowship really highlights that. We make sure that wellness and reflection and community building is a huge component of our program. We very thoughtfully craft our cohorts together upon meeting them and making sure that we're not just throwing a group of 16 people into a cohort and expecting it to land, right? In those interviews and in meeting them and in our conversations, we very thoughtfully try to place our fellows, with a room full of different experiences and knowledge and just what everyone can bring to the table in that cohort. And so community is a huge aspect. We make sure that we encourage a lot of socializing at social opportunities, networking opportunities with themselves and also our partners. We also try to nurture other mental health. We offer resources with our partner organizations. For example, WWP, Wounded Warrior Project, is a huge partner of ours, a huge advocate of our program. They join us each and every cycle to highlight their resources and programs, as well as do info sessions with us like this to make sure that dog tag is out there and it's on people's radars. Throughout the program, our wellness components, again, they include wellness, reflection, journaling, introspection, physical activity to get our veterans out of their seats and moving. And then we even do lighter team building sessions where let's forget about all the curriculum and all of the learning labs and all the rotations and all of the academics. Let's just have a karaoke sing off during this, 30-minute session together, right? Just to kind of decompress for the week and go off on your weekend, on a good note. So we do make sure that we have formal resources, and internal well-being practices that we incorporate into the program each and every week. And then even as needed, if we see that our fellows are feeling overwhelmed or there are some challenges that were unexpected, we really try to tap into that. So each cycle is different and every cohort is very different. And community is really the aspect that keeps it all kind of cohesive, where they have each other. They have 15 other people at most in that same cohort where they can lean on each other. And as you said, Laura, hold each other accountable through the program, right? And just be a support, a pillar of support to each other. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank
I
you.
think that's fantastic that you're doing that. I mean, one of the big things that people don't realize is that there's a tremendous amount of a huge community within the military, right? When you're on active duty, you have so many resources that are available to you, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't take advantage of it. But
Mhm.
that being said, as you transition from active duty to the civilian world, it is a completely different world, right? And there isn't a lot of outreach. There's not a lot of community there to be able to support. So being able to have that community resource, the physical piece, the mental piece, keeping people active, I think it's fantastic as they get out, because transitioning is not easy in today's day and age. It's very difficult. The job market isn't fantastic, so it can be very challenging for folks as they're getting out of the service.
Yeah.
Awesome. And talking about community, I'm going to take this moment to actually spotlight. I was going to do it towards the end, but I'm going to go ahead right now and just throw out there a shameless plug of what's coming here through the Blue Star Careers community, but also the overall Blue Star families. I know Jerilyn is very familiar with this, but those of you who may not be, this is next week through the whole week of the 21st all the way to the 29th, even including now. A lot of our chapters are celebrating what we call Blue Star Families Welcome Week. Of course, my call to action will be to join the Blue Star Careers community, where we're going to have some incredible programming. But for sure, Blue Star Welcome Week is all week next week. It's an opportunity for all members, neighbors, and anyone out there. It has become a new American tradition where we welcome all of our our community families, or anyone who has transitioned, who has relocated, moved to a new place, or just simply has to start all over again. So they don't do it alone. And we spotlight hundreds, thousands of programming. And I say thousands because everyone behind the scenes has been so busy, really, to every chapter from east to west, from north to south. Everyone has been busy. And then, of course, for the careers programming, it's all going to be in our neighborhood, where we're going to welcome and share additional resources to everyone. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Join us next week for sure, and help us welcome you and welcome others into the community. I do want to call a last call to action before we close. For anyone who has any questions or can post any comments, I'm going to highlight some of our members who are actually watching or have watched throughout the course of these webinar, and say hello to some of our community members. So hello, Amanda, and thank you for watching and joining us today. Kristen, thank you. Glad that you were able to join us. And then, of course, Andrew, all the way in DC. We have also members in Alexandria, Virginia. Thank you so much for joining. We have more Virginia. So Virginia, it's hot today. Where's everyone else over in Chicago? We are streaming in Chicago. So if you are watching and we're in Chicago, please post your comments. I know we are at the national page as well. So, but tell us. I'm going to post this question here from one of our members, from Amanda. It says, do you need previous experience to be a financial consultant at AFBN, or is there a training provider for the job for people with no experience? Great question. Thank you for asking that, Amanda.
Yes, there is not. You don't need to have prior experience. I mean, the biggest thing that you bring to the table is going to be your experience. Being around the military community, understanding, the military lifestyle, also the language. Right. I don't think there's a lot of civilians who know what ETS means, or DOS, or PCS, or TDY, or any of those things. So that is probably the biggest thing. The other thing would be just your desire to help people, to be a resource in the community, to be able to give back and help folks. Think back when you started your career, many folks were in their early 20s. They're just trying to figure things out. So being able to provide some good, solid direction, some good, solid advice, and getting them on the right path can make all the changes, the difference in the world. I remember early in my career starting off, talking to a young sergeant, and then talking to him 15, 20 years later when he's a command sergeant major and saying that, hey, I have the ability to buy a home now and put my kids through school, all because you talked me into starting to save a little money, putting money to work constructively for the future when all I could think about was, tomorrow and the new car that I wanted to buy. And he goes, that made a difference. And I took your advice and I applied it. And every time I got promoted, I saved more money and saved more money. And I'm living proof that it works. It's very fulfilling to be able to do that. So there is some education that needs to be done. You need to get licenses and certified through the states. But AFBN, we help you through that. We have a whole course, a process that goes through that. We offer full 100% tuition reimbursement. And also we do pay a stipend for a period of 8 to 12 weeks, depending on your learning curve. That again is taxable as well. So, but yeah, it helps you as you're learning and getting qualified to do this. And then we have a network of installations or with boots on the ground throughout CONUS. So they're there to help you as well as you're learning and taking you out and training with you and actually going out and visiting with families and clients so you can get an understanding of exactly what this career does for you.
Wow, that's incredible. This is so well. Uh, Very great question. Thank you so much for asking that, Amanda. And I would probably add all you need with any of these great two alternative solutions for you to really stop avoiding job search, the burnout, and be very intentional. Apply for the fellowship. Apply also to be part of the AFBN team. But most importantly, bring your enthusiasm, your career, your military life, cheer spirit, as I like to say it, right? Bring your enthusiasm. And I think sometimes that's much greater than the qualifications for a lot of jobs because not everybody can be happy, have that special cheer master to deal with customers. And that's really what also another part of component of doing great work with mission. I want to also take a moment right now to say hello to some of our members who are watching in some of the other communities. So Enrique Mendoza, thank you so much. Brooke for liking. Amber, Grace, I want to say hello to Ray and Wendy. Thank you. Miss Sally Velez, also a graduate of the Blue Star Families Fellowships. Mr. Mateo, Laura, Amelia, and so many other more. Samantha, Vanessa, thank you so much. Betsy, I see that ring on your profile. So please go and explore both of these opportunities. It might be the great thing that you need for your career trajectory and secure that opportunity. Also, any other questions or comments, please continue to post them. We're going to go back and make sure that you get all the responses that you need. But when in doubt, just simply join the Blue Star Careers community in the neighborhood. If you haven't heard me already by now, just meet me in the neighborhood where we have the best, right, real time, right on this, real minute sort of a career support. And you'll get directed where you need to go, or we'll help you right there on the spot as well. So, as we get ready to wrap it up, I want to put back our guest on the comment and then just ask one question that actually came here into our from a sponsors community. And I think I'll have both of you respond, but I think it may be intended a little bit more for you, perhaps, Mike. Based on your on, um, and so sort of it's day-to-day sort of an economical hardship that is going on with so many families and not just the military in general with everything. How do you prioritize the need of having that paycheck with finding career solutions or options? How do you take that detour without feeling like I just really want to get paid?
Yeah, that's really a good question. It's a tough question. Without a doubt, there's a lot of challenges in the economy right now, and I'm sure it can be very, very frustrating for people that actually want to start a business or start a career, a profession, doing something that's more long term, but having to sacrifice and take a position to satisfy the immediate cash flow needs that their family requires, that they need. I think the hardest thing to be able, or the best thing to do, is to try to balance it. And I think a lot of it comes down to time management skills, which Dog Tag would provide and help a lot with the tools that you guys provide, but being able to manage your time effectively, to when you are working to make that income that you need now, the immediate planning and being disciplined to be able to look for the future, right? Where you want to be, how are you going to get there? You need to prioritize and you need to have that discipline to where you get off from work, and instead of maybe going out with friends or doing whatever, you make sure that you invest an hour or 2 hours every day towards your long-term goals where you really want to be. And as long as you do that and you stay focused, you'll get there eventually. But you have to put the time in, right? And if you invest, it's amazing. It's like saving money. You save $10 a week, it adds up. Before you know it, you have hundreds of dollars, then you have thousands. Same thing here. If it's a career where you need education or anything of that nature, it's investing the time. 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day turns into 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week turns into 40 hours a month. It adds up and it adds up, and that's how people around the country are increasing their education or starting businesses. Right? You're getting a degree. A lot of times when it's remote, it may take 4 years to get it and not two, but eventually the result is the same. So I guess stay on target, stay disciplined, stay focused, and manage your time as efficiently as possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Miss Jerilyn, anything you would like to add? I mean, why should I, or what would be my buy-in or my end goal if I invest 5 months in this fellowship?
The commitment you're making to yourself is the biggest thing. And Mike touched on it, the sacrifice, of pushing for something long term, you know, all the short things, the short terms, going out to eat and hanging out, all of that will mean nothing after the 5 months when you feel your business is developed and you know where you're going and you found your purpose and your direction past your service time. So the commitment to yourself, I think, is just go to dogtaginc.org, read more about our program, research. And my biggest thing, I think my call to action, if I may, is going to be, you know, versus job search that results in burnout. Look more for networking opportunities and engagement, right? As Laura said, nothing can beat the impact of an in-person engagement. You might meet someone, sans your resume, sans your pitch, your elevator pitch, and they feel you and they hear your experience and they receive your knowledge and go, we need to keep in touch. And you can't do that, in every setting. So, to avoid job search burnout, I've done it in the past where I go, I'm logging off and now I'm going to go look for socializing events where I can network and meet people in the same, in the rooms that I want to be in. And I think for me, that would be the best advice I could give for any of my fellow military spouses or anyone in the military community who is in that space of, I'm so burned out, I have no idea what I need to do. Take a step back and go for those networking opportunities where in-person engagement is mandatory and is the game. And I hope that will help land you where you want to be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for 6 seconds. Really beautiful into the question for call to action, but you already did yours. So I'm going to put Mike on the spot and say, Mike, what would be your call to action as we wrap up this webinar? What would be a great tip or anything insider you can share with our community?
Number one, first of all, thank everybody for your sacrifice, your service to our wonderful, beautiful country. You guys are protecting our way of life. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, we really, really appreciate it. If anybody is intrigued or interested in what we do and how we do it, please visit AFBN at www.afbn or careers.afbn.us. We have a representative that's on deck right now that'd be happy to take your call, have a conversation with you, kind of paint a better picture of what it is we do and how we do it and how you can make an impact to your community.
Wonderful. And the link is also right then below. And then, of course, but we want to make sure that everyone makes it to where they need to go. So by all of that, just know for sure that those of you who are in the community, in the neighborhood, that's where the real time and real career action takes place. We're going to make sure that all these links, as well as the contact information for you to connect with these great providers and community allies of all great resources, career driven folks, will be in touch with you as well. So just meet us in the neighborhood and we'll make it happen for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, we have gone a little bit over our time that I asked you to commit, but it's been such a great discussion, and both of you have such an incredible, powerful, conversations that you have shared with our community. I'm just very grateful for the extra time that you have given us. For everyone else who's watching or will watch this replay, please be sure that you post your comments. We'll take care of you, no matter where you are. You're always welcome to the neighborhood and join our festivities and activities next week.